There are moments when fear seems to arrive without warning. It can appear quietly, as a subtle tension in your chest, or suddenly, as an overwhelming feeling that something is about to go wrong. Sometimes fear has a clear cause, and sometimes it doesn't. You may wake up feeling uneasy, anxious about the future, or uncertain about decisions that once felt simple. And in those moments, it's easy to believe that fear is a sign that something is wrong with you, or that life has become unsafe. But fear is not a punishment, and it is not proof that you are weak. Fear appears when the mind feels disconnected from something deeper. It arises when attention shifts away from inner truth and becomes absorbed in appearances, memories, or imagined futures. Fear is not your enemy. It is a signal. It is the mind asking for reassurance, clarity, and reconnection. Many people try to fight fear, suppress it, or distract themselves from it. But fear does not dissolve through resistance. The more you push it away, the more it insists on being heard. Fear softens only when it is understood. And understanding begins when you realize that fear is not a reflection of reality itself, but of how reality is being perceived in that moment. Often, fear grows when life feels uncertain, when outcomes are unclear, or when control seems to slip through your fingers. The mind begins to imagine possible losses, failures, or dangers. It creates scenarios that feel real, even though they have not happened. And gradually, the body reacts as if those imagined threats were already present. This is how fear gains strength. Not because danger is real, but because the mind believes it might be. What is important to remember is this: fear does not mean that life is against you. It means that your awareness has temporarily shifted away from the deeper foundation of peace that has always supported you. Fear appears when the mind forgets where true safety comes from. And that safety has never depended on circumstances, outcomes, or external control. If fear is present in your life right now, it does not mean you are failing. It means you are being invited to return inward, to pause, to look beyond appearances, to remember something essential that may have been covered by worry and mental noise. Fear is not a sign of danger. It is a sign that your attention is ready to move back toward truth. And today, this message comes to remind you of that truth gently, without force, without pressure. You are not being asked to eliminate fear instantly. You are simply being invited to see it differently. Because the moment fear is seen clearly, it begins to lose its grip. And that is where peace quietly starts to return. There is something essential that needs to be remembered now, especially when fear feels strong. Your true life has never been in danger. What feels threatened is not your real self, but the image the mind has created of who you are. The deepest part of you, the life that truly exists, remains untouched by circumstances, untouched by uncertainty, and untouched by anything that happens on the surface of experience. Most suffering comes from confusing appearances with reality. The outer world changes constantly. Situations arise and pass, emotions fluctuate, thoughts come and go. But beneath all of this, there is a stable, unchanging foundation. This foundation is not something you need to build or protect. It already exists. It is the life that sustains you, the awareness that perceives, the presence that has never left you. Fear convinces the mind that something essential can be lost. It suggests that peace, safety, or meaning depend on conditions being a certain way. But this belief is rooted in misunderstanding. What is truly real cannot be threatened. What is truly alive within you cannot be harmed by external events. The life that expresses itself through you is not fragile, even when circumstances appear unstable. When you look closely, you may notice that even during difficult moments, something within you remains aware. You are able to observe fear, worry, and uncertainty. This observing presence is not afraid. It is calm, steady, and clear. That presence is your true life, and it has never been in danger. Not now, not in the past, and not in any imagined future. The sense of danger belongs to the realm of appearances. It belongs to thoughts about what might happen, memories of what has happened, and interpretations of what is happening now. These interpretations can feel convincing, but they are not the truth of life itself. They are reflections in the mind, not the substance of reality. As this understanding settles, something begins to relax inside you. The need to defend, control, or constantly anticipate softens. You realize that you are not required to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Life has been supporting you long before you were aware of it, and it will continue to do so, quietly and faithfully. This does not mean that challenges disappear instantly. It means that they lose their power to define you. When you recognize that your true life is safe, challenges become experiences rather than threats. They may ask for attention, wisdom, or action, but they no longer provoke fear at the level of your being. To remember this is not an act of effort. It is an act of recognition. You are not becoming something new. You are simply returning to what has always been true. And in that return, fear naturally weakens, because it has nothing real left to protect against. Your true life is whole. Your true life is secure. Your true life has never been in danger. And from this recognition, peace begins to emerge. Not as something you create, but as something you rediscover. When the mind begins to understand that its true life has never been in danger, something subtle but profound happens. The constant tension of self-protection starts to dissolve. The need to anticipate every outcome loosens. And in that space, harmony naturally begins to return. Peace is not something that must be created or achieved. It emerges when resistance ends. Inner harmony arises the moment you stop arguing with life as it is. Much of the disturbance people feel comes from an internal struggle, wanting things to be different, wishing the past had unfolded another way, fearing what the future might bring. But when this inner struggle softens, the heart finds rest. Not because all questions are answered, but because trust quietly replaces fear. Harmony is not passivity. It is alignment. It is the recognition that life is moving according to an order far deeper than personal control. When you align with this order, you no longer feel the need to fight what is happening. You begin to cooperate with the present moment, rather than resist it. And cooperation brings calm. As you return to this inner alignment, you may notice a gentle sense of relief. Breathing becomes easier. The body relaxes. Thoughts slow down. This is not something you force. It happens naturally when the mind stops insisting that it must manage everything on its own. Peace appears when you allow life to carry you, rather than trying to carry life. This return to harmony also involves reconciliation, not necessarily with external situations, but within yourself. It is the moment you stop blaming yourself for feeling afraid, the moment you stop judging your reactions, the moment you accept where you are without condemnation. Acceptance does not mean giving up, it means stopping the inner conflict that drains your energy. Peace is not loud. It does not announce itself dramatically. It arrives quietly, like a gentle presence reminding you that you are safe right now. Not because everything is perfect, but because your connection to life is intact. When you rest in this awareness, fear no longer dominates your inner world. It may still appear, but it no longer controls you. Returning to inner harmony is simply remembering how to rest in truth. It is allowing the deeper rhythm of life to move through you again. And as this rhythm is felt, peace becomes less of an idea and more of a lived experience. Now, take a moment to be still. Not to think, not to analyze, not to search for answers, just to pause. In this quiet space, allow everything you have heard to settle naturally. You don't need to hold on to the words. What matters has already reached the place it needed to reach. Remember this. Fear does not define you. It never did. Fear was only a passing signal, a momentary cloud that appeared when attention drifted away from truth. But truth itself never moved. Your real life remains whole, supported, and deeply connected to the source of all life. Nothing essential was ever threatened. You are not required to solve everything today. You are not expected to have certainty about the future. Peace does not come from knowing what will happen next. Peace comes from knowing where you stand now, grounded in a life that is already secure. When fear tries to return, let it pass without resistance. You don't need to fight it. Simply remember what you have recognized here. Remember that you are not separate. Remember that life is not against you. Remember that harmony is your natural state. Allow this awareness to accompany you beyond this moment. Let it soften your thoughts, your reactions, your expectations. Let it remind you, gently and consistently, that you are carried by something far greater than personal effort. And if this message brought you even a small sense of peace, I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel so these messages can continue to reach you when you need them most. They are here to support your journey back to clarity, harmony, and trust. Before you go, write in the comments, "I am not afraid." This simple statement is not a declaration of strength. It is a recognition of truth. And your words may help someone else remember the same. Remain still for a few seconds. Let peace settle. Life is with you, and you are safe.